When Suzana Garcia was a teenager in Lognes, east of Paris, football was a family habit and a stubborn problem. There was no pathway for girls like her. At 16, she didn't wait for permission. She set up a girls' team, learned to coach, and collected badges while running practices for 20 players because the systems simply hadn't made room. That early do-it-yourself spirit becomes the through line of everything that follows. Unpaid work at community clubs, the constant friction of missed paperwork and extra hurdles that minority candidates often face, and an ugly spell at Nice where she says she encountered open hostility and racism that eventually pushed her back to Paris. The pivot point came not in a recruitment office but in a stadium, watching Paris Saint-Germain play Manchester United in 2019 and seeing women on the visiting staff convinced her that a place in the men's game was possible. She learned English, moved to London and joined a development programme at Arsenal that backed her with qualifications and a real pathway. In 2022, Arsenal offered her a role scouting for the men's academy. A moment she remembers with tears because it was affirmation that all those years of fighting invisible barriers had finally produced change. What matters most in that line is not the job title but the dominoes it knocked over. Colleagues who'd once been absent became friends, who turned up after she had a baby to assemble furniture and to tell her the training centre had hired more women. 4. Because she kept pushing. Her story isn't a singular triumph but a template, building opportunities where none existed, refusing to be sidelined by prejudice, and using a platform inside one of Europe's biggest clubs to expand the idea of who belongs. For young coaches in the suburbs who still face the lost document and the last-minute extra demand, Garcia is proof that persistence and institutional support can meet. For Arsenal and for football, it's a reminder that talent pipelines are stronger when they reflect the communities around them. The ripples will be practical, different scouting lists, different coaching rooms, and symbolic. A quiet message that it seemed impossible is no longer an acceptable verdict. Tonight, Suzana Garcia's path from suburban pitches to Arsenal's academy shows how one person's courage and a club's willingness to back them can start to rewrite the rules of a game that once seemed closed to so many.